So one thing that I've encountered working in schools doing eye tracking is the cerebral visual impairment. Can you just explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So it's we know it's 30 to 40% of the special school population will have some degree of cerebral visual impairment. And it can be a challenge, and we need to work with school to work out exactly the degree of that. But essentially what cerebral visual impairment means that there's a problem with your vision that's originating in your brain, not in the eyes. So you can have perfectly healthy eyes, nothing's wrong with the structure of your eyes, but your brain isn't processing the images from the eye in the way that someone who doesn't have any issues with processing would. So to put that into sort of a practical example, you can have cerebral visual impairment, or CVI, that means you process nothing. So you're cortically blind, we've always called it. So your visual cortex is very damaged and you don't have any useful vision. Right through to just having perhaps a very mild cerebral visual impairment where you have some issues with processing certain moving targets. So every child's processing when they have a CVI diagnosis can be different. So we tend to work with teachers for the visually impaired and with school to try and understand the level of the CVI. And it's certainly not a barrier to using eye gaze technology. And it's certainly not a barrier to using glasses, because we do know that we can maximise a child's visual potential with CVI if we correct a need for glasses. And it is something we know now, that the neural system is plastic for a longer period. We used to think that we had a neuroplastic period up to the age of about 6 or 7. And it certainly, our visual system is most plastic during that period. So in other words, if you have brain damage from birth, you can develop all sorts of new connections to compensate for that. So a brain scan won't necessarily be a good indication of the level of CVI that you have. But we also know now that that plasticity can go right into adulthood. So with the right stimulation and with working with a child and understanding their level of processing ability and limitation, you can see that their vision can start to improve slightly. But it's about understanding each individual and where they're at on that. And it's not a linear scale either, because there's lots of different elements to visual processing. So it's not just about resolution or contrast or ability to control eye movements. Some children, they can have much better vision when they're not tired, and then when they're tired, they can be almost functionally blind. And some children function much better if there's much less visual clutter. So it really is about tailoring the approach to the individual and getting to understand their abilities and limitations.